Hi, I'm Rob Boyd, an English photographer from the UK. I decided to create this podcast series talking to international photographers whose work I truly love. I realised I knew nothing about these amazing people apart from their names and their stunning work. So I created a set of hopefully entertaining questions that finds out who they are and what they love. Hi Damon, thanks for joining me. If you can start with your name and your Instagram name, that'd be absolutely brilliant, mate.
Right. Hi, Rob. My name's Damon Finlay, and my Instagram name is @out_of_site_out.of.mind. It's a
I
mouthful, I
shouldn't
wish.
laugh, but it's just well
I
done.
know.
You need a round of
Do you
applause for
know,
that.
it sounded like a good name at the time, and it kind of summed up street photography, out of sight, out of mind, getting shots. But then, when so many variations of that are already taken,
Sure.
it's just like, oh my God, why did I pick this?
Yeah. Yeah, but it looks cool, especially on the page. So, that's good.
Right, that's right, good.
And have you got a website?
I don't have a website as such, but I've got one of the Adobe portfolio sites, which has got a variation of photographs on it. It's not really been updated in a couple of years, but that is damonf6083.myportfolio.com. And that's got all the kind of photography I've done, various things. But as I say, it's not been updated for a couple of years.
Yeah. That's what it is.
It is what it is, yeah. That's
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
I had a domain name for it, but then it's one of them. I just thought it's just another expense that you don't really need to have. Just let
Absolutely.
it lapse. It was one of them. Take it for the first year or two on the cheap deal, and then when it went to full price or what they're looking for full price,
Yeah.
no, I won't bother.
No, totally get that. I'm half Scottish, so I get it.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. My Scottish roots took hold and made me come to my senses.
Absolutely. I get that. Brilliant. So where do you live? We better ask where you live.
I live in Edinburgh.
Nice.
Lived here all my life.
Yeah, lovely city.
And it is, yeah. I live in the north of the city. It's the port part, Leith. So my wife's an original Leither. I'm an incomer, so I get a bit of stick for moving into the area. Blamed for gentrification.
Yeah.
I
And
don't know why.
obviously made famous by the Proclaimers as well,
Yes, sunshine on Leith, yeah.
Yeah, amazing. So where are you from originally then?
Edinburgh, yeah.
Still Edinburgh, yeah.
As I say, yeah, lived here most of my life, apart from a 5 or 6 month spell working in Germany, but that was it. Been here all my days.
Perfect, yeah, brilliant. So if I visited you, where would you take me to shoot?
I would take you up into the city centre of Edinburgh. We'd probably start on the likes of the Royal Mile. That's the historic centre of Edinburgh. There's lots of what we call closes, or I suppose you would call alleyways leading off there. They're a bit, it can be dark, atmospheric. On the Royal Mile itself, you've got a multitude of tourists, street performers, and just other people going about their business to shoot. You can see all sorts of things on the Royal Mile.
Yeah.
Then I would probably take you down into the Grassmarket area and up and towards an area called Newington. There's a lot of nightlife in the Grassmarket, and in Newington's kind of where a lot of students live, so there's lots of things happening there, so you get lots of people, so it's good for shooting street.
Yeah.
There's restaurants or takeaways with neon signs, which I know you like a neon sign, and I'm partial to them myself, so
yeah, I must admit, that's it. We have got a bit of a sucker for those. Yeah, brilliant. So I normally ask, is there anything for tourists? But obviously you've got the castle, you've got everything that Edinburgh's got. I mean, it's like Harry Potter, really. You feel like you're in Diagon Alley half the time when you're in
yeah. Well, that's
centre.
absolutely. Yeah, you've got Victoria Street, which they keep saying or Diagon Alley was modelled on that, along with half a dozen other places like York as well. But there's lots for tourists here. There's, as you say, the castle. There's the Royal Mile itself, down to Holyrood Palace. There's various art galleries. There's lots. And Edinburgh's quite a good city. It's quite compact. The centre's quite compact. It's quite easy to walk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And have you actually got the trams finished now? Have they finished all the tramways? Because last time I came, it was all up.
Yeah. Yes, we have finished that line, but now There is local uproar because they're thinking about extending it and having another line, which, as is usual with these things, it's pick it. The route is very controversial, or where they're thinking about putting the route is very controversial. So once they decide on that, or if they realise that, or if they can get the funding, that'll go ahead, and then that will be giving everybody in Edinburgh nightmares and flashbacks to the early 2000s when we're doing the first line.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's when I came last.
It would be if you ever took a taxi. If you flew a taxi from the airport, you were like got lambasted by it was good fodder for taxi drivers to have a rant and rave about,
Yeah.
for a long period of time. And in some cases, you can't blame them.
Yeah. No, totally. That's it. Yeah, brilliant. Okay. So
Yeah.
where's your favourite destination in the world? Where do you love the most?
I love London, and I was lucky enough last year to go to New York, and earlier this year I went to Istanbul. So it's those three. I was blown away with Istanbul. It was so different from anywhere else in Europe that I've been. I think you can go abroad, you can leave Britain, you can go anywhere in Europe, and while there's differences, you still feel it still feels relatively comfortable and normal, or familiar is probably the best way. Whereas when I went to Istanbul last month, it was just different. It was just so different. It was really probably the best way. It was quite an experience. And I
Yeah.
think New York was similar to that. But London. I love London, and it's probably the easiest, and it's a much easier place to visit. Coming from Edinburgh, it's just jump on the train, 4 hours. You can spend a long weekend.
Yeah.
So it'd be probably London, but the other two run London very close.
Yeah. No, I get that with all of them. The thing is with Istanbul, because it's part Muslim and it's part Christian and it's part this and it's part that, that
Yeah,
all the cultures over the years, like the Ottoman period and everything else, they all merge
yeah,
into one. So you get absolutely,
absolutely.
and the people are amazing. I mean, the people are just incredible. I love the Turks as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I couldn't fault. I had a great experience there. There was anybody I dealt with was fantastic. Usual thing for tourists. Done a bit of research before going, and the kind of things that the people, watch out for this or that scam. The one with the shoe shiners dropping the brush. So I was aware that happened once or twice, but you just walk past it. But
Yeah,
anybody you dealt with, whether in restaurants or the hotels or even cafes, or even I actually got lost when I was coming from the airport. I got the metro into the city, and I had to change. But the station was huge. I ended up getting lost. But I just asked somebody, and they couldn't be any more helpful.
yeah, yeah,
It was,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think most people are the same everywhere in the world. Most people are willing to help people that are needing that help or assistance, or be polite as well. And especially if you're civil and all the rest of it to them. I
absolutely.
think most people are like that.
You've reminded me, I was in New York in one of these dollar slice pizza places, and they
Yeah.
all look like gangbangers. They all look like they had tears coming on the corner of their eyes, tattooed. And I thought, oh my God, what the hell's going on? And they were the nicest people you'd ever meet in your life. I was chatting about bloody
Yeah.
Downton Abbey with them.
Downton Abbey.
It was just, oh my God, they look like they're going to knife you, yeah, but they're talking about Downton.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I was in Istanbul, I was taking photos on the Glatter Bridge of the fishermen, as you do. And there was other photographers coming, and they stopped and chatted to me. And they were a Turkish photography group from
Sure.
a different city.
Yeah.
And chatting away, just again, as you do when you bump into another photographer, chatting about, oh, where'd you come from? How are you enjoying it? Giving you a few hints. You must go and see this. You must go and see that. It was
Amazing.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. So where would you most like to visit in the world? What's on your bucket list?
I'm going to be very predictable. Like most of the guests on the podcast, it has to be Tokyo in Japan.
Yeah, but that's for good reason, because it's an incredible place.
It is. It's because it is a completely different culture, and I think until you experience, you can imagine what it's going to be like,
Yeah,
but until you actually experience it, it's a different thing altogether, and it literally is the other side of the world.
yeah,
It's something me and my wife are looking forward. It's kind of thing. It's on the bucket list to do. Maybe when we retire, go on a trip like that, spend a bit of time, you know, and
yeah.
spend some time in Japan, hopefully Singapore and whatnot as well.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
They've
Good
seen
choice.
so many beautiful pictures
Yeah.
from there.
And so varied as well. That's the thing, it's a mixture of absolutely everything.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the thing, exactly what you said about Istanbul. There's the culture and stuff. It's that side of it. It's not just street photography, there's culture. There's so much to experience about the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally get that. Brilliant. So start the weird
Mhm.
questions. If you could time travel,
Yeah.
where and when would you visit?
Right. If I could time travel, I would probably go back to London in 1976 and 77 at the birth and start of punk rock. I love punk music. I was a little bit too young to experience it at the time. So I'd love to go back to that to see the characters, the changes in culture. There's the music, then there's all the fashion side of that as well. I think it'd be quite an exciting time to go back to and photograph, and
Yeah.
experience a
Yeah.
complete
Imagine,
change, a lot of change.
like I say, you imagine Carnaby Street at that time.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
Even yeah, all that kind of thing with the clubs, even in Soho. There was a couple of music clubs, I think the 100 Club in Wardour Street as well. And I think just seeing that it'd just be fantastic.
Yeah.
You see pictures now from it, but to experience it, and it was just yeah. It was, as I think people have said, Britain seemed to be drab and grey and dull up until that point, and then there was this explosion,
Yeah.
sort of led by younger people.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah. Brilliant. Good choice. Excellent. So if you
Uh-huh.
could photograph anyone in history, who would you shoot?
I think I would probably want to shoot Billy Connolly in his prime because
Choice.
he was flamboyant. Obviously, there's the Scottish angle there as well,
Hmm.
but he was flamboyant in his dress and his attitude and opinion. And I think obviously it'd be a complete laugh as well because well, you'd be you'd be speaking to one of the funniest men on the planet, or
Yeah.
watching them and trying
Yeah.
to shoot and catch those candid moments. I think that would be great.
Absolutely. Because the thing is, even now, when you hear him talk and some of the stories,
Yeah,
oh my God, that come out of
yeah.
yeah, he's amazing.
I know it's
Even looking at him makes you laugh. I love Billy Connolly. So yeah, good choice.
yeah.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
That's all right. So, tell me a fun fact
Uh-huh.
or a story about yourself.
Right. Okay. Right. Many years ago, I was stopped for speeding on the M6.
Hmm.
What it turned out to be the case was my car had a faulty speedometer. All right. So got stopped. As is the case, you get out, you go in the back of the police car, and the traffic cops turn around to me and say, "Who do you think you are, Damon Hill?" And I went, "No, my name's Damon Finlay." And the two heads turned in an instant, a fraction. "Are you taking the piss?" I don't know if I can say. I went, "No, that's my name." They go through all the questions and they turned around to me at the end. They said, "Right, despite the rocky start, everything you've told us has been true and there's nothing. We're going to just give you the 7-day ticket to get that repaired and go off on your way." I thought, "Oh, thanks." But I
God
thought,
for that.
my heart sank when they said that, the most famous British racing driver at that time period. You had to
Yeah,
say that. Could you not
yeah,
have said Nigel Mansell?
yeah. But that's it. There's how many Damons are there, and
There's,
that's
there
it.
isn't. There's not that many. There's Damon Hill. There's Damon Albarn,
Yeah. And
and I
yourself?
can't think of many more. And myself, yeah, not quite in their caliber.
Oh, I don't know. You'll get there. You'll get there at some point. So, what's your favourite word? And that's a weird question.
Right. My favourite word probably is persevere. Now, that's actually, I think it's the motto of the part of Edinburgh where I live, because as Leith used to be a separate town and it had its own motto until it merged with, it was a port town of Edinburgh. That's Leith's motto is persevere. But I think it's a kind of thing in life, and especially and in photography, and especially street photography, you have to keep persevering because not everything is successful. You just have to pick yourself up, head out again, and persevere and persevere and persevere and keep at it, because eventually you'll get something,
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. You've just got to, and you change as well as a photographer. Your
Yeah,
tastes change, and you just think, right, okay, and you just need to push through to the next what you like. Yeah, absolutely.
exactly. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's it.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, because it's an international podcast. Teach me a new word or a saying I may not know.
Right. I'm going to give you a good old fashioned Scottish, or more likely Edinburgh word, and
Uh
that
huh.
is Raj.
Not there,
And
right?
it's not as in the Indian spelling RAG, it's RADGE. Raj, and that word can be used in both a positive and negative fashion. It can be used to describe somebody or something. If you've ever seen the film Trainspotting,
Yep.
the character Begbie, he's a Raj. He's unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen. He's bad news. And likewise, the other character is also a Raj, but that's in a more, you don't know what's going to happen, but it's generally not a bad. It's a humorous situation.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, you can also use it to describe things, events. Like you should have came out last weekend. That night was pure Raj. It was unbelievable things happened, things that you can't explain, something. So that'd be the word I'd introduce you to.
Yeah. And I didn't know that one either. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm always learning. I love it. I absolutely love learning new stuff. And that's definitely one out of the blue. Brilliant. So when did photography click for you? Obviously, excuse the pun, but what moment did you realise it could
Yeah. I think when I was doing landscape photography and seascape photography, I really enjoyed seeing people's long exposure pictures. And then it was a matter of, oh, how do they do that? Trying to find out on the internet, find out, oh, you need filters, you need to do this, this, and this. So it was probably when the first time one of those turned out as I expected. You've set everything up, you've had an idea of what you want, and then actually to achieve that and get the result you want, that was like
Magic.
mind blowing. You thought, well, I never thought I'd be able to do things like that. But then you find out, you learn, and you persevere and try, and then you get to that stage where it happens for you, and you get the result you want.
Yeah.
It was kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
And probably similarly for street photography, it's that thing when you find a great scene and you're just waiting for somebody to come into it, and they do. I think it's that thing. I think if you find somewhere with good light or whatever, you have to be patient, and I think the more patient you are, 9 times out of 10, that person appears. I don't know if it's, you get that karma, you get rewarded for your patience and your willingness to wait sometimes.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we've said this to other people. It's just really weird the way that happens. That if you're patient enough and you will it long enough, it does happen.
Yeah, it happened. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember having that there was a spot in Edinburgh. It looks down a stairwell and it's into a car park and there's nobody there, and I was waiting. That'd be really good. And it was the best subject ever. Came somebody in a suit with a case, and they stood right in the right spot just because you were willing to wait that a little bit longer.
Yeah.
It's karma.
Yeah, perfect. Absolutely brilliant. So, talking about good photos, then, what's your favourite 3, and why do you like them?
Right. Okay. I have this one. A guy carrying this sign, and he's saying, basically, it's one of these fancy coat hook signs, and it's on across that. It's got the coat hooks, and on it, it's got "Get your coat, you've pulled." And I've got this in black and white. I've seen him and his friend walking up the road, and I literally, that'll be a good photo. And I was literally ran after them to try and get ahead, always that bit walking a little bit further in front, and just managed to get them just the perfect, almost perfect position, because the sign goes from diagonal to diagonal, and you can read that up there. And I just thought, for the effort that was put in to try and get it, for it to turn out, I really enjoyed that. And I know it's cheesy humour, but I just liked that sign on the text on the sign,
Yeah,
I just liked it. And another one was one I took. I was actually shooting from the hip. I was trying that out for a wee period of time, and then I was going down street in Edinburgh, Coburn Street, which is just off the Royal Mile, and there's a lot of coffee shops and cafes. And I'd seen the sign. There was this family who were sitting having coffees, and they all had ice cream cones. When I took the shot, I'd literally managed to get right in the foreground. There's a hand on a lap, the other hand's holding a cone. It goes on to the next person, you see their cone, and then the other hand's doing something at the table, and then it looks like either the mum or the sister of the family is standing at the end looking at her phone. And I just thought, the thing that came at mind was hands, cones, and mobile phones, and it just kind of summed that picture up.
Yeah, great title.
Yeah, I just, again, and the fact that it was shot for the hip. It's one of them. I couldn't believe how that turned out, and it was just, it's like when you get something and you think, I really like that. That's great. That's the kind of thing you're hoping for, and you don't always get. So when you get something like that, it's such a buzz.
Yeah, totally.
And the other one is one I got last year on the Staten Island ferry. It's a black and white shot, and it's basically shooting out towards the window shooting out the window, shooting across the ferry, and you can see the seating, the bench seating, with there's one individual sitting there, kind of, I think they're maybe looking on their phone, but they're kind of hunched over. But then you've got all the reflections. You've got reflections from the window, and then you've also got all people who are outside on the deck watching out over the city. It's just like one of these multi-layered, and it looks kind of like a double exposure, but it's not. It's a single shot. And
Yeah.
again, that's that kind of thing. Seeing that and then seeing it through the viewfinder, I thought, oh,
Yeah.
I hope that one turns out, because you know yourself. Sometimes you take the shots, you don't know until you get back and see them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
you
end
can
up
review them
praying.
and find out that worked, that
Yeah.
worked or not. Yeah, so that's my three favourite shots.
Brilliant. Yeah. Excellent. And good choice as well, because again, they're all varied. That's really good.
Yeah,
And also, it's nice to have a squeaky bum moment in there, when you think, oh my God, is it going to work or not?
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
It's the
But
reward at the
I
end.
think we've all had those thoughts. We've all had those thoughts where you've taken shots, you think, oh, I'm really excited, looking forward to that, and a lot of the times they don't live up to the expectation, you
Sure.
know. But when they do, it's brilliant. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. Brilliant. Absolutely amazing. I love that. That's great. So, what advice would
Right.
you give a new photographer?
What advice? I think it would be, don't worry, don't use social media, but don't let it become the be all and end all of the purpose of your photography. I think first and foremost, it has to be fun. So if you find what you enjoy shooting, keep doing that. Keep looking to learn and try different things, but obviously, ultimately, it has to be enjoyable and it has to be fun. You know, that's as I say, I wouldn't warn them not to get too hung up on the social media side of things
Yeah.
and
No,
just
that's
enjoy their photography.
Yeah, that's good advice, because it's one of those things you get downhearted by if you think it's to do with
You
likes
can
and
do,
stuff. And it's
yeah,
not. Yeah, absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, brilliant, excellent. So, what you got
hmm
coming on? What's your goals? What you got coming up next?
In the last year or two, I've started to print more of my photos, and I've basically been printing them out into small books for my own enjoyment. So I want to do more of that. Ultimately, that's been relatively easy because it's been for maybe from specific trips. So that's thing me. But I'd ultimately like to go back through all my photos that I've got, especially of Edinburgh, pictures taken in Edinburgh, and go through them and get a photo book made up from them. I've also been fortunate enough in the last year to have taken part in two exhibitions, so I'd like to try and do more of that. And if those opportunities come, submit to them. There's the last one was just in February or March there, and it was run by a local guy who runs the photo walks here in Edinburgh, a guy Ollie Heady. He's really good,
Yeah,
and he runs photo walks, a monthly photo walk, and it was basically a lot of people who'd been on the photo walks had the chance to exhibit and stuff like that. That was really good. So I'd like to do a bit more of that,
yeah,
if possible.
yeah, definitely. And the thing is, the more you say yes to things, and the more you agree, and the more you talk to people, and the more you do, the easier it gets, because people then obviously recognise
Yeah,
what you can do, and that's the
yeah,
key. I think, is just putting yourself out there and being positive. I think. Yeah,
yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, be open to new things and new adventures and trying that. And as you say, being open to people, then
yeah,
you don't know where that'll lead to.
yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, well, I'm glad we actually met, because the thing is, we've been messaging for
Yeah,
absolutely ages. I love your work. It's the same as mine. It's similar. We're so similar in our
yeah,
styles that we love the neons, we love the scenes, we love the
yeah.
people, and going back as well,
Exactly.
because I went back, because I had never really gone back to the beginning of your work. So I went back to the beginning, and
hmm
some people, you see a
Oof.
big progression going through, but yours is constant. Yours
Uh-huh.
is good all the way through. So you've had it from the beginning,
Oh,
really.
well, thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say.
Yeah, no, not at all. It's surprising, because sometimes,
That's maybe not, yeah, it's maybe not been my expectation, but I think that's great to hear.
yeah,
I
I think
can't
you probably had
thank
the
you enough for
initial
that.
skills at the beginning as well, to have that eye and the
Yeah,
composition and everything else, and then you just you do everything that we all do. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's often I go back to somebody's photography and have a look at the beginning and go, yeah, okay, I can see
Uh-huh.
the progression. Like mine, Jesus Christ, you saw
Right.
my
Yeah.
first photos. It's like, oh my God Almighty. Yeah. So yeah,
But
brilliant.
I think we all probably feel like that about our own work when you go back and think, oh God, what was I doing then?
Yeah,
But it's nice to hear that, because I think we probably all feel like we don't know if we've ever, or we're not 100% sure we're making good stuff until somebody, or you're happy with certain things, but you're not sure if you're improving is maybe the best way to talk about it. But to hear that from other people and your peers and people you admire and whose work you admire, it's really encouraging as well.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, it's one of those things that you can't, if you're not critical about your own work, then really you're not taking it seriously
Yes,
or passionate enough. That's what I find in
exactly.
general.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I'm not 100% sure I'm the best curator of this. I probably put more stuff out I probably shouldn't, but then sometimes, on the other hand as well, I thought, well, I'm doing it for fun,
Yeah, go with your gut.
And
That's
I,
all you
and
can do.
and yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
probably you've nailed it on the head there, you
yeah,
know.
yeah. Don't worry about it. If it feels right, do it. That's it. Simple.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Right. Well, thanks for being my guest. I really appreciate being here, and nice to
It's
see
a
you.
yeah, it's a pleasure and nice to finally put a face to a name.